If you are like me and you enjoy playing video games, but as the hours go by, you berate yourself for spending so many hours and having nothing to show for it, I invite you to try reselling. Reselling is very similar to playing a game, except that it's real money and you get to keep what you earn. So way back in the day, I have always been interested in playing video games ever since I was a kid, and I would sink hours and hours into games, going as far back as EverQuest, and I've played Fallout, I've played Call of Duty, Fortnite, whatever it may be. But a lot of these games have raids, they have things that you literally spend hours on trying to complete. But at the end of the day, if you spent 6 or 8 hours playing the game, you turn it off, you don't really have anything to show for it. Yes, there are games where you can actually sell like virtual items and things like that, but I think for the most part, it's safe to say that playing video games are doing it for fun, but they're spending a lot of time and they don't really, at the end of the day, have a lot to show for it. Not so long ago, maybe a few years ago, I completely stopped playing games and I started reselling. So reselling is basically you're looking for items that are on sale, they're on clearance, that you have a coupon, you have some sort of way to make money on the item, and you can buy it at that price at that time and then resell it for a product. So the profit. So the concept is simple. Of course, the execution is always a little bit more difficult. But I started selling on Amazon about 4 years ago and Walmart a couple of years ago. I've been selling on eBay for quite some time and even started selling on Mercari and Poshmark. Right now, instead of playing those video games, I'm spending a couple of hours a day looking for new items to purchase, processing the ones that have sold, and essentially creating a system so that, I can do this as much as possible without dedicating all the time that it would take. So with a system in place, I'm able to narrow this down to 1 or 2, maybe 3 hours a day, but still make hundreds of dollars a day, and my goal is around $10,000 in profit after costs each month, and I've been able to get pretty close to that pretty consistently. If you are interested in learning how to use this system, or you want to try to give it a try yourself, I invite you to follow this podcast. This is the 5 Steps Reselling podcast, where I go through the specifics of setting everything up, how to find profitable products, which platforms to sell on, how to set up systems where you don't even have to touch the products if you don't want to, and you're able to make a comfortable side income or even have it be your primary source of income as you scale. So definitely follow along, subscribe. Continuing on the video game analogy. So if you're a gamer, you probably already know this, but if not, a lot of the times when you're playing like a role-playing game, you start at level 1. You don't have a lot of items, a lot of health or anything along those lines. And then of course, as you go along, you build up. So you may have quests to complete or different tasks to run. And as you do that, you get rewards. And with those rewards, you're able to buy more stuff. Eventually, you're able to find things like magical items or items that are rare and along those lines. So people can definitely get into these games. They are a lot of fun to play. Like I said before, I love playing them, but they do take a lot of time. When I was playing them, I could easily do 6, 8, 10 hours on a run of just playing with friends or playing a game. And again, at the end of the day, I just didn't have anything to show for it. When I started looking into things like reselling, it appealed to me immediately because it's, you gamify it, if you will. There's the same starting where you start out, you're just getting experience. You're trying to figure out what works, what doesn't. Eventually you build a system, you start repeating the same steps over and over, and then you scale. And then the more you do that, the more you earn. The more you earn, you're able to reinvest into the business and scale up. So you'll see people that, of course, post their numbers. For me, it's not so much of a numbers game, like I need to sell X amount of product. It's more that I want to focus on the quality of sales. The biggest thing is finding products that are briefly on sale. Maybe they're on clearance, which is a great time of year to find clearance items. But the way that works is if you're looking to buy, say, a television, and it's Black Friday. There's going to be a ton of deals, but they're only available for a very short duration. And a lot of retail stores have this exact same thing with their sales that they run. Some even run one-day sales, or they may have a sale that lasts 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, or they may have a clearance event. There's a lot of stores right after the end of Q4 going into Q1 that are going to be looking to liquidate their inventory. So what that means is they have a very finite number of products and they're deeply discounted. And of course, once they sell out. So if you're looking for shoes, for instance, and you find something that's 50, 60, 70% off the retail price of those shoes and you buy them, that's great. But when that sale is over or when those shoes sell out and you're looking to buy them, your options are going to be very limited. So this is why reselling works. If you are able to scout out those sales, to look at those clearances, and you're able to buy something that's 50, 60, 70, even 80% off, you can then hold that inventory, wait for that sale to expire, and then people looking to buy that same item now have a lot fewer options because those clearance sales and whatever are no longer there. And when you list them for sale, even if you're selling at below the MSRP, you're still able to capture a really good amount of profit. The 5-step reselling system that I am following and that I urge people to copy me on uses what I call fulfilled by merchant. So it's not only are you able to get these items, but you're able to quickly resell them without putting all of your items into one system like FBA or having to wait 3, 4, 5, 6, sometimes even 6 weeks for items to arrive and be for sale on places like Amazon. So what I do each day is I use the product sourcing software that I made to scan sales, to scan coupons, scan clearance. And what that's doing is it's downloading product information, directly comparing it to a platform like Amazon, and it gives me an interface that shows me exactly which of those products are profitable. And I can look at the historical price. So if an item is on clearance right now and I'm looking at to purchase it and I want to know what is the typical price for this item over 90 days, 180 days, or even a year, I'm able to see that, which gives me a really good idea of when the sale is over and it goes back to the standard pricing, how much I'm going to be able to resell that item for. So that is a big advantage. And this software does scan hundreds or even thousands of items at a time. So a lot of people, when they're talking about reselling, they're either looking at what other people sell, they're trying to copy those items, they're scanning one item at a time. That a lot where you just basically show up at a store, walk to the clearance section, and just blindly pick up a product, look to see is it on Amazon, is it profitable, and if it is, are you allowed to sell it? That works. It's very limited and very time consuming so that you're going to find actual products that you can sell. Where instead, I can literally go to a website like Kohl's, Macy's, Walmart, and just click on their section that lists all of their clearance items, whether they're in store or only available online. Tell it how many of those I want to scan and list any of the additional discount that I may have through coupons or gift cards or using a cashback credit card, or maybe the store like Kohl's has a rewards program. And I simply say, scan this number of products and send me the report. And what it does is puts everything into a spreadsheet and emails you the spreadsheet. And then I can also click to use the AI the AI analyzer online. What that does is use about 25 to 30 data points and say, these are your best bet. These are the products that you can buy now and sell at a profit. And I simply repeat those same steps at different resellers. So, that 5-step program, register on a site so that you're able to sell, scan the items to find which ones are profitable, make a purchase of the items and send it either to yourself or to a prep center like I do, list the item for sale, and then when it sells, you ship it to the customer. So I could literally do this for one item, or I could do it for 100 items or 1,000 items or 10,000 items, depending as you scale. The nice thing about a reselling system like this is very little experience is needed. So a lot of people are worried about, they want to do reselling. They like the appeal of being able to buy something and resell it and keep the profit, but they're either not sure where to start or they assume it's just super complicated and that they're going to need to know a lot of different things. But the reality is, if you follow these steps and you basically copy the same things I'm doing. Anyone can do it. You can start with virtually no capital. A lot of people, again, are worried, how much money do I need to get started? And the answer is very little. A lot of platforms like eBay, Mercari, Poshmark, they don't require any money or even a business account to sign up. Same thing with Facebook Marketplace. Now, if you want to sell on Amazon and Walmart, you will need to have a business license, but even that is very low cost. You don't need an LLC or a corporation. You can simply be a sole proprietor like I am, get a business license very quickly, and then go through the process to get approved to sell on those platforms. Once you have platforms to sell on, I could literally buy a single item and list it on all 5 platforms. And if it sells on one, then I just remove it from the other one so I don't oversell it. And whoever bought it at whatever price, I ship that item to them. I get profit from that, and I can either take that profit or I can reinvest it, and maybe now I'm buying 2 items, and then maybe I'll buy 5 items, and then you can scale from there. Or if you do have money to invest, of course, you can buy a number of products to start out and then still reinvest and grow from there. The people that are doing like 7 figures, if you think about that, they're saying that they're selling over $1 million worth of products in a year. That's great. Of course, it's not all profit. A common profit margin at the end of all expenses or something, maybe around 20%. So you would think that's a lot of money to purchase the products in order to make that sort of volume. And then maybe that's not for everybody. But the point being is you don't have to start at that level. You can be no experienced. You could have very little to start with and use tools that are essentially free to get going. And I very commonly make 15, 20, sometimes even more, $30 or $50 on a single item sold. And I could resell that same item often over and over. Or if not, then I just find other products. There's no shortage of products to sell, especially using a system like this and using software that will do the legwork for you, scan all the things that are on sale or clearance and tell you exactly, here are the ones to sell. And you have a very competitive advantage over a lot of other resellers if you're using a system such as this, because you are able to take that product and very quickly turn it around and list it for sale on the platforms where it's profitable. There are a lot of times where I may buy, say, a cart full of 20 items. I'm shipping them out, and as they're in transit and I know they're on the way and I know that I'll have them in order to turn around and ship to customers, I list them for sale. So I may list them for sale the next day or the day after that and immediately start getting sales. At the end of the year, on December 31st, I had some Kohl's Rewards money to spend. I bought 10 pairs of shoes in a particular color of a very popular shoe of Converse that had been selling very well. And it's less than a week later and I've sold all 10 of those, right? So when you use systems like this that show you the velocity of sales, that show you the profit, it makes it very easy. And you're able to do this without a lot of time involved and without the expertise and along those lines. I'll go on and I'll show you some of the things that I've been doing and how to what tools to use, how to get started. As a brief overview, I do invite you to follow along, subscribe to where you are listening or watching this. Feel free to reach out. I do work with people one-on-one to get you set up with the exact same system that I use. And there's also additional videos that go in depth into exactly how to get everything set up.
So the first thing that you will want to do is have some sort of inventory system. Obviously, it's going to be important to track what inventory that you have, what platforms that you are selling that inventory on. I like to use Sellerboard. Sellerboard is a software inventory program that will list the sales that you have made, but it'll also show you the products and inventory that you have. You can tag it for a different platform, or whether it's FBA or FBM. If you're selling on Amazon, you can see it tracks cost of goods sold, and you're able to to bulk upload that information as needed. And then it also will give you an idea of profit and loss on items when you have that cost of goods sold in there. It also provides a dashboard, gives you an idea of how your sales are doing. So it has snapshots of today, yesterday, 7 days, 14 days, 30 days, and you can see, and then of course the returns and how that affects your bottom line and net profit for items that you've sold. So I would say that's a very important place to start, even if you're just starting out, is to have some sort of tracking for the inventory that you have. And then of course, making sure that once you get a sale, you can immediately replenish that item if you're able to still get it at the cost that you purchased it at, or make sure that if you're listing it on multiple platforms that you are not overselling that product once it's been sold. The other thing that I like about Sellerboard is that it's pretty inexpensive. So one of the things that I have recommended is, instead of just getting a ton of tools and having a monthly spend on subscriptions that's going to be eating into your profits, find the tools that will make you money. And an example of that would be a repricer that literally will take the item that it's listed for, compete for the buy box, and adjust the price automatically to get the most profit possible without eating into, without going below a certain floor. So when I use a repricer, I'm always setting a range between 30% and 90% return on investment so that I'm never losing money, but every sale that I get, every item sold has at least 30% return on investment for the items that I am selling. And if you are looking for a recommendation, I do use Aura, A-U-R-A, as a repricer. So this kind of shows you the sales that I had over in December. This is just on Amazon, but I do also have Walmart in here. And if I click on listings, it will show me all of the listings that I have, and the pricing activity will also show me what it's doing. So you can see here within the last 2 minutes, it's adjusting some of my products to compete with that buy box on Amazon. And the nice thing is this is fully automated. You simply set up a strategy and tell it the boundaries that you would like to reprice your item. Sometimes it's increasing the price of an item. Say the item ahead of you in the buy box has sold out. Now all of a sudden the next item is $20 higher than that one that sold out. This is going to reprice it just below that, so that you're getting the most profit possible. And a lot of times you see these are making them a little bit lower to get more competitive and possibly win the buy box, but you're always within that barrier. You're never going to lose money. So Repricer is one of those tools that will make you money simply by increasing the price of items to get that buy box and sell it for the most it can possibly sell. It's a no-brainer to use that. And of course, the scraping software, the product sourcing software, is also a tool that will make you money by running these jobs to find products on all of these retailers such as ASOS, Academy, Home Depot, eBay, Kohl's, Lowe's, Macy's. So all of these will be having sales, they'll have clearance, they'll have offers, they'll have rewards programs where you can scan and find profitable products. The first thing that you'll want to do as part of the reselling program is register on multiple platforms. So you can see I sell on Amazon, I have Walmart, and you can see I have orders pending here. There's eBay, I have a couple orders here that are pending. I have Mercari, and I have just a few orders here that I'm working with, and Poshmark. So again, I could have a single item and list it on all 5 of those. And so I'm not limiting myself just to Amazon or just to Walmart or just to eBay. If it sells anywhere, I fulfill that sale, and I have it at very similar price points. I can fulfill that sale and then delist it if I need to off of the other platforms, or like I said before, try to replenish that. So step 1, don't limit yourself to a single platform. Register in at least these. There's also Facebook Marketplace, there's OfferUp, Craigslist, different places, whatnot. If you're into live auctions, there's a lot of places now where you can resell items. The key being, as I had mentioned, getting that item at a really good price that's temporary, and then looking to resell that product. So let's look at finding products. I will use Macy's as an example. Here we have a weekend sale. And today is a Saturday that this is being filmed on, and they are offering 20 to 50% off. So to look at those items specifically, I would simply click on that banner, and that's going to bring up all the different items. And you can see I have different filters here that I can set. Maybe there's a price range, or maybe there's certain brands in here that I would like to target that either I know I'm ungated or that are popular or that I'd like to focus on. I can simply select those brands. But also you can see here with those filters in place, there are hundreds, if not thousands of items to choose from. And the manually clicking on each one of these and trying to find which ones would be profitable would take quite some time. And you can see there's over 3,115 pages of results on just this one particular sale. So again, you want to find tools that will make you money. There's well over 500 products here. All I would simply do is put in the filters that I want. Maybe I just want to see clearance right now. So if I click clearance, it's going to do a subset of those items where it says clearance finds 40 to 70% off, but there's still a lot of things to choose from. And then of course I can choose the department. So maybe I'm not interested in jewelry. I can just go by whatever departments I am interested in. So if I wanted to do something like kitchen or clothing or any of those things, I would just select which ones I want. I could select again the brands, the gender, the price. I like to sort by bestsellers because those are typically the ones that will move the fastest. And then once you have that list, I'm simply going to copy that top URL. I will go back to the scraping software and submit that as a job. So if I go to submit job and I say I would just choose Macy's as the store, I will paste in the URL that I just took. You can see clearance closeout by bestsellers, and I'll simply tell it how many pages I would like. So with Macy's, there are 64 products per page. So if I tell it I want 10 pages of products, what it's basically saying is I'm going to download the top 640 products, compare those to Amazon. It's going to give me an exact list that I can then look and see what can I buy now that's right now profitable on Amazon, and then helps me with my sourcing decisions. So once I have that in place, the discount is already built in. I don't have an additional discount for Macy's. I'll put in 3% for my credit card, but other than that, I'll do 10 pages with 3% additional discount, and I'll just do run submit scraping job. This is run, and the rest of the process is fully automated. So once that is complete, then we can take a look at the results and see which products would be great to purchase and immediately list across those different platforms for sale to try to get a profitable flip of those products. So while that job is running, this is the magic that happens in the background. You won't see this when you're running a job, but this is running on the back end. Everything is fully automated. It is gathering every page of those results that we told it to grab. So 10 pages. It's getting the links. It compiled a list from that of 602 links, and now it is going to load every single one of those products individually and get the information that we need in order to compare those products to Amazon. So not all products will be exactly sold by Macy's and also sold on Amazon, but a large amount will. And especially with the clothing items, it will be getting all of the variations of the product. So every color, every size, every width, all of that information is now being downloaded from Macy's and then will be checked against Amazon, and that will provide us our final results spreadsheet. It's been about 3 minutes since I started the job. We're already almost 400 products in. So imagine if you were at Macy's and you went to their clearance aisle and you were scanning barcodes with your phone to look up an item on Amazon, comparing that with this, which is downloading literally thousands of different products with variations and comparing them automatically. You can see why a tool like this that automates that process is so valuable in finding all the different things that you're able to resell. So it has now only been about 3 to 5 minutes. We're 572 of 602 products. And as this finishes up, I'll show you what that final sheet looks like that gets emailed to you to be your personal sourcing spreadsheet that's created just for you, that's not shared with anyone else. sales. When you run these, it's only to you, and you're able to then source those products. All right, so now it has been 10 minutes that it took to download the information from 640 clearance items at Macy's. It sends us this email. It tells us here is our search that we ran, which is the sale closeout sorted by bestsellers. We scraped 10 pages. We told that we had a 3% cashback on our credit card discount, and now it has direct links to download the results. I click that and it'll download the spreadsheet. And I can also click AI Smart Analyzer or use the Brand Ungator. So those are both helpful tools. It also shows me in my completed jobs here that the job is completed. And again, I can download the results. If I click that, it just downloads a spreadsheet. And if I send to the AI Analyzer, what this will do is open up that sheet that it just downloaded and give us statistics. So with 640 products, it got a total of 11,121 items and variations of those products. Of those, about 4,000 of those exist in the Amazon catalog. So a lot of things Macy's sells are just not an exact match on Amazon, which is totally fine. But for our intents and purposes, we will focus on the 4,000 items that are in the Amazon catalog. Now simply click Analyze Products, and it's going to give us an idea of those which it rates as excellent, good, average, or poor. One caveat with this, even though it's showing only 17 good products, is that a lot of times it's looking for a lot of sales data or a lot of stock. And you can see here the stock is very low because it is a clearance or sale item. You can definitely find some good items in here by clicking each section and looking at each of the items. The other thing that we can do is send that same list to our brand ungating if you're interested to see which of those brands that we found during that scrape would be good to sell on Amazon. So it's saying that it found 50 different brands, but only about 10 or so are considered really good to sell on Amazon. Some of the ones that are showing lower are probably because there's not enough information in the limited scrape, only doing 10 pages, or it just doesn't have a lot of different offers on those various items. So if I look at the AI Analyzer, what this will do, if I show you like the different reviews and things like that, it's going to find an item and it's going to say, okay, this has 75% ROI. This Cloud9 wire-free contour bra, it sells approximately 320 in this exact size. So that one, it would say scale up and purchase because it's a really good item. And then if I wanted to check that out and do more research, I simply would click buy link next to there and then the Amazon link. And what this will do is show you the products side by side so you can make sure it's the exact same item, exact same cost and everything here. So if I click that, you can see right now there's 5 different offers, and the lowest offer in the buy box is $44. And then again, I can check and see on Macy's and find that exact same product in the exact same size and see that it's in stock, and then be able to sell that same item on Amazon. So that's essentially how you would use this list. Generally, when I'm doing this, I would do a lot more than 10 pages just because the more results that you have, the better quality of the items that you're going to find. But you can see it's finding a particular item if you're able to sell this particular sportswear, especially right now, these sweatshirts or winter clothing tends to be very popular. And you can see it's looking at 152% ROI, where you can make $32.83 on a single item on here. And again, you can open them up side by side to compare them and make sure that you could do additional vetting. And then once you do purchase that item, again, I wouldn't just list it on Amazon. It's showing you what it sells for on Amazon, but you could also sell it on Walmart, eBay, Mercari, Poshmark, and then those different platforms allow you to sell something quickly and not be limited on just one platform And it also helps you scale and be able to get that money back fast. So that second step, using this sourcing tool to look at and scrape products from any of these retailers that you see here. All of them are going to have some sort of offer, whether it's Target, Walmart, Walgreens, Nike, Kohl's, Lowe's. They'll all have something, even Costco, Adidas, whatever it may be. You can use that same method. And once you find a product, that's when you purchase it. As soon as you have that product available, that's when you list it, and you list it across the multiple platforms. Then when you get the sale, that's when you send it to the customer and either repeat the process by buying the same product if it's still on sale, or just do another scan or find other products. There's almost always items to resell. So if you're looking at that gaming comparison, you're starting out at level 1. Eventually you're doing quests, you're defeating monsters, doing whatever it may be, getting more inventory, you're getting more cash, you're able to start building up, you're able to start getting better items or be able to afford more things. It's the same thing. If you're spending the hours here of finding those products, buying them, reselling them, making that product, reinvesting it, eventually you're going to get that rhythm down, those same 5 steps over and over. That's whether you're finding one product or doing multiple, it's going to be that same thing. And at the end of the day, if you're spending 2 or 3 hours doing this, you could very easily be making good profit margins and good amount of money on a side hustle versus if you were playing Fortnite or wherever other game that you enjoy. Yeah, it's fun, but at the end of the day, when you turn it off, you don't have really anything to show for it. So I like thinking of this as a game. It's fun to hunt for products that either are unusual or outside of the box or other people haven't found, or just simply something you find on a deep discount that you're able to sell at a good profit. For me, it's enjoyable and it also makes money. And if I'm going to spend 2 or 3 hours a day doing something, I'd rather we do something that is going to have a tangible result at the end of the day. Just to give you an idea of one of the active scrapes that I like to run, I like to run it against Kohl's, but you can see there's a lot of products that it found that are on Amazon, over 39,000, and there's a lot of good ones to choose from. And if you look at the sales that are actually coming in, here's an example of a product that sold for $127. So one of the things that I can do is go back and say, okay, that sold for $127. Let's see what that actually was in profit. I put that in here and I put $127 and calculate the profit for that one item. You can see that I made, just for that one item that sold, $30 in profit. So that's 41% ROI, which is really good. And what happened is, with the discount that I have at Kohl's with their rewards program with the Kohl's Cash, my total cost, including tax and everything built in, is $70. And then I sold it for $127. And then after the fees and the $8 or so that it'll cost me for shipping, that comes up with the $29.40 of profit. So again, I'd much rather be finding these products, listing them, getting that, and actually having $30 in my pocket for a single item sold than sitting and playing a game and maybe I level up or do a bunch of things, but I don't have anything to show for it. So you don't have to choose one or the other. Of course, you could do both, but I encourage you, if you are like me and you enjoy the process of finding those things and you want to have something to show for it, follow these steps, reach out with questions. You can literally do the exact same steps that I am doing and have that same type of success.
If you've made it this far, thank you for watching. Hopefully this has given you a good idea of how to get started with reselling, why it is easy if you're able to follow 5 specific reselling steps like these, where there's not ambiguity. It's not just saying, hey, go find something profitable, which is easier said than done. These are very specific tools and steps to take to start reselling, whether you are a beginner, whether you are intermediate, advanced. This can absolutely help you find more items to sell, more platforms to sell them on, take advantage of items as they are profitable now and not have to sit on inventory. you'll get your money back faster, the money that you're investing. You can then reinvest that money. So there's a lot of positives to this. Let me know if you have any questions. Like I mentioned previously, I will be happy to work with you one-on-one to get everything set up. Use these same templates, same relationships with the prep centers that I have, the same software that I am using to scan these items. I also have additional videos that really cover sourcing and validating products that you do find in addition to this one. And we'll be making more videos covering all of these things. So again, thank you for watching. I hope you have liked, subscribed, and followed along. And again, feel free to reach out with any questions. Happy to do a demo of this in your particular use case. Until next time.